I cannot enter. It's locked.
Oi! Come on, you
It's
coward!
locked, all right.
Clever fucking beasts!
It's locked. It's locked, all right. locked. It's locked, all right. It's locked. Hello, sir. May I disturb you again?
And you're still ugly as sin.
I'll leave you to your bottle, then.
Are they stupid or something?
You again. What can I do for you?
Tom, talk to me about the visit from your old friend, William.
Yes, Will came by tonight, but he's not my friend anymore.
Why lie to me if he is not your friend?
I didn't lie. I said you were my only unannounced customer, and that's the truth.
Who is he?
William, just an old sailor who loves his gin too much. He worked for years at the canning factory before it closed.
How was he tonight? Was he different?
Sicker than usual, perhaps. He whined and mumbled about how mean people were to him and how he'd like to talk to me outside, and then he left when I refused.
Is he dangerous?
Yeah, like many drunks, he's all bark and no bite. He can barely stand up most of the time.
I need to find him. It's a matter of urgency. Do you know where he is?
You could try his boat. It's up by the North Pier. He sleeps there when he's too drunk to get home.
Please describe him to me.
What'd you expect? He's a tall, sick bastard with a bad rash and torn old clothes. William used to be strong. Now he's a mess.
Thank you, Tom.
If you see him, tell him I don't want him back here unless he cleans up his act, okay?
It's a good thing.
I hope I live long enough to see them wet boot boys get what's coming to them. You best talk to Tom. Are they stupid or something? I've never even been here.
Something can be done to get out of this bullshit.
Can I have some privacy, please?
It's locked, all right.
Not long ago, this sort of mess would have given me a laugh.
I hope I live long enough to see them wet boot boys get what's coming to them.
Over there! There's one of them vermin! Stupid beast! Filthy fucking beast! What is that? There's one of them! Kill it all you deserve! Let go.
This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
We knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred
Sir,
spirit.
listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by Skal?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you... like me? Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
By George and the Saints, you've solved the mystery of these terrible murders. Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help. Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful place.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed his drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well. The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me. This poor creature can't be my maker. Could it be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood. I cannot enter. It's locked, all right. Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... what manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What... who is she?
What woman?
Oh, don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
And I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself, Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed. A surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it! I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word again. From a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
Of that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this affliction.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed, and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes. So, what do you say?
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy?
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea, immediately.
Welcome aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. I'm coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
It's my turn!
Rotten autocracy. Each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river. Try it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. Me guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
In the back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fight me. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
To taste a life, to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
I cannot enter. It's locked, all right.
I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend. Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide-and-seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane. Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised. But I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against...
An invisible enemy?
Sorry, Doctor. These last...
Do you think this hospital can...
We are all volunteers here.
I'm not familiar with all...
Brilliant professionals. Most of them.
Most of them?
It would be inappropriate.
Is there...
Well, I have never met someone as...
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need... Good evening, sir.
I've already heard about you, Doc.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can...
I'm not sure I understand what...
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a...
You have a keen eye. I learned...
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun...
How is this...
You want to hear the situation is all right?
Are you really smuggling?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know.
But you're not defending yourself.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them...
So what...
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess.
It sounds like things have been a bit...
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital?
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary...
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
I'd like to see...
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable...
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
But the suffering continues.
The pain. It's here again.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal?
You keep calling me mortal. Why?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you...
Who are you, really?
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No.
Who are you? I'm curious to know who you were.
No, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am.
Please.
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French...
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff...
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire. Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reed. Blood.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Has lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues. I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
I wonder why the Goswicks came here in the first place.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. war injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Fear and disgust.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood. Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this.
No offense. I was pushing too much.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head...
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real.
She could decide to bite less willing.
And it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doc.
You do...
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could...
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
I wonder what your last thought would be, sir.
The pain.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
Here again.
How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's...
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Hmm? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't...
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark.
Time has lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory.
You remained perfectly nice and polite.
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to...
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place, and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction so...
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like...
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise?
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then?
Not really. Most men and women are just...
What is the...
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of...
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know? The sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show.
Have you...
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick?
You're preaching to the converted now, Doc.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but...
I manage a night asylum for the poor and home.
Are you...
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith, willing to...
Why didn't you...
That's a very strange question, Doctor.
How do you...
I feel exhausted.
You're in good hands here. Doctor...
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Hello again, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
The pain.
I cannot enter.
It's here again.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe...
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival.
Does my arrival inconvenience you?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share...
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already...
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean? Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon.
It is not a question of initiative. It is a question of integrity.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as science.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. If you have...
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this...
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that...
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me.
Carelessness?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust...
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego.
Do you need my assistance?
Not at all. I'm sure that you are you.
Thank you for your time.
Never could keep anything from her.
This hospital seems to be falling...
What can I do for you?
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
I don't know if...
I see.
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is a...
Tell me...
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family. I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too. But that means I need...
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so, too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now... Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Ackroyd. They both want the...
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wood and nails, not flesh and bones.
Tell me about the
Strickland...
What do you mean?
I often...
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
This hospital seems to be falling apart.
Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us. I am Thoreau Strickland. Dr. Thoreau Strickland.
Please, could you tell me something about...
I'm a great admirer of your work.
What...
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster. I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me. But I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory.
With the influenza and all that's going on,
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend it.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science. What? Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea.
You seem quite
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a...
Questions remain about our capacity.
True.
Do you need...
Well, yes, maybe.
Do you want me to play the errand boy?
Oh, no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to him...
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. Please, could you tell me something?
I'm a great... I'd rather...
Do you need my medical attention?
You don't have to worry.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. Good evening, madam.
It's my son.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of...
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming.
What can you tell me about your...
Not much to say.
Are you really that rich?
Yes, thanks to my husband.
May I ask...
I'm a teacher by profession. I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that...
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here, then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
How painful is your throat?
So painful I'd rather...
I'll let you get some...
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are...
I'm okay.
Tell me about...
I don't want to talk.
I have to go now, sir. But...
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
The children, Ellen. As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Good evening, Mr.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
How long must I wait, damn it? Blaming me will not further your agenda, sir. How long's it going to take to fix me properly, Mum? A year. You have the right to disapprove of our methods, and you will kindly apologize when you're feeling better. I will not let you down.
It's locked.
We can handle this.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think...
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe this situation?
It's serious. The flu is...
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse?
You must get a hold of you.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
How long have you...
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You're right.
Sorry, Doctor.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual. Especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike...
I don't know. Just ask him.
Why is Milton grumpy on a...
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you.
Do you need my medical...
You don't have to worry.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
I'm so tired. Will this shift never end? I will not let you down.
Good. I have to go now, sir.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
I cannot enter.
Always knew the words to calm the children.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
How painful.
So painful, I'd rather not talk.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized?
My mother just wants the best for me.
Is your mother...
That's tempting, Doctor. That's not me you have to convince.
I have to go now.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening.
Goodbye, Mrs. It's locked, all right. It's locked. It's locked, all right. It's locked. It's locked.
Not now!
It's locked, all right. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now. I'm to stay here until my research is complete. I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood? The flower's dying. It needs water.
Hurry now, Doctor. It's freezing. don't have all night. Hurry now, Doctor. It's freezing here. I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend. Come on, I don't have all night. I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend. Hurry now, Doctor. It's freezing here. I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply...
What type of hospital are you running?
You have been away too long, Doctor.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse. I cannot enter. It's locked, all right.
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench.
Every street corner. The daily routine.
A giant morgue disguised as a hospital. What's Pembroke nowadays?
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brother... were properly fed. Underage girl...
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Goodbye, Milton. Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody... So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
Life running in your veins. This dead flesh needs it.
The Pembroke is so lucky to have.
Good evening.
So it is true.
Do we know it?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell and...
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation?
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more...
Don't be misled by a pit.
What can you tell me?
Some are really good.
Any opinion?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve.
Ah, yes, the burden of command.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good...
Tell me more.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl.
You really seem to admire her.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos.
Nurse Brannigan.
She should not have told you that.
You don't have to blame.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the...
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening.
Good evening, Doc.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
It's on to us! It's on him! It's on him! Filthy bastard!